Drew.
By the way, Keith threw my sandwich out the window, too. Yeah.
But you didn't cry. Everyone had a good laugh.
Oh, fuck you, Jay. It was an emotional moment for me.
That's the best thing. Like that's your guys' generation was like you'd have a slice of pizza or a sandwich and you'd be like, oh, let me see. You throw it across the street.
Yeah.
It's great. I did that. My generation or the generation below me, they don't. Dude, Ian Feinstein had a slice of pizza once. I was like, oh, Ian, let me get a bite. And I took it. I just threw it in the street, and everybody around me was like, you're a piece of shit. I was like, what? That's what they taught me. It's tough love.
It's a criable
You
offense.
remember, Keith, you remember at my brokest, I got a pack of M&Ms at a deli on our way home, and Kevin Hart slapped them out of my hands right when I opened them. And I'm fat, so I opened them straight across the top. And the sound of M&Ms rattling to stillness on the floor, and then he threw $2 on the ground, and I had to grab my knees in my pants and pull them up so I can bend down. And get
Look at
$2.
the
And by the
pure
way,
delight in his eyes. Like,
by
that's
the way-
the cackling of the devil.
I also fatly took the $2 and repurchased M&Ms.
A pack of M&Ms kind of looks like Kevin Hart, if you think about it.
I
Same
had
size.
a tin of Altoids, but also 12 Adderall in it. And I opened it up to get an Adderall, and Ari Shaffir comes over to me and just smacks it out of my hands, and all the Adderall scattered into the street, and I couldn't find them.
Oh, wow.
God, what a better time.
Keith was we were in doing some road gig with Kevin Hart. Keith goes, hey, dummy, you want a sandwich, don't you? You want to smack your lips and have a nice fat sandwich, don't you, Kev? And then they stop and they get him a sandwich in Subway, and Keith goes, what do you think you're going to put on it? You're thinking about, I think you should put some salt on it. Kevin was innocent. He didn't know he was dealing with the fucking Satan himself, just this old
Kevin's
monster.
never been innocent.
Took it right out of his hands, hurled it on the highway. Then I was reading a book, and you go, Rachel reading bugs me.
It bugs me.
You go, I don't like it. And he just threw my book out the window onto the highway. And I was like, I didn't realize people existed like this. Like, I was like, I never thought men were like this. I didn't think they were so evil. And you were like, yeah, bitch, get used to it.
An open
Damn
window
right.
solves a lot of problems.
Alex, let's go to story number 2.
Hey kids, I just ordered soups for dinner, okay?
Actually,
Is that what you
because
got from NACA these days? They put you in culinary school?
She was like, I was on Hell's Kitchen doing comedy.
It was actually because I was in front of the Hot Pocket station there, and I was kind of an impediment to the kids getting Hot Pockets and microwaving their food. So they were angrier I was more just like an obstacle to them being able to have their own snacks, which is why they use that to assault me.
Well, they never learned that you don't need entertainment at every point of everything. In the world. How many times I performed in a hallway? It's like, what are people going to do when they're leaving this concert and going to a bathroom? Shouldn't they want to stop and watch you do comedy in a hallway? That's insane.
It's true. They make stages for us. Is there anything sadder than like some 22-year-old crafting a stage? It's not even a stage. It's like a tiny, sad square.
Yes, Keith trying to brush his teeth.
Yeah.
Don't laugh.
Keith has the Rocky IV robot for that. Happy birthday, Paulie.
You guys never at any point feel sorry for Keith, okay? I want you to always remember how bad and toxic of a man he is. We were at the Comedy Cellar one night, and he was just following me around singing, the Jews will not replace us, the Jews will not replace us, the Jews will not replace us. Yes, he's a bad guy.
I'll tell you
Just
this.
remember that.
You know what? Let's give Keith his a bad guy stories. When I did Jimmy Fallon show, I came to the Comedy Cellar that night to watch it with everybody. I'm like, oh, this will be a wonderful moment. Everyone here is rooting for me, right? Especially Keith, the man who took me out of Philadelphia and said, no, you could do this, and brought me up to New York and showed me everything. The show, I was unaware, went from 12:35 to 1:35. At 1:29, he goes, all right, we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back, which seemed like the show is over. And then for that entire, what do you call it, a 3-minute commercial break, Keith had the entire Comedy Cellar going, Jay wasn't on the show. Jay wasn't on the show. Jay wasn't on and everyone, just customers eating. It's a restaurant upstairs. It's not a comedy club. The whole room, Jay, no one even, they go, what are we singing for? Oh, this guy wasn't on, Jay wasn't on the show.
Whole crowd like, who's Jay?
Until Jimmy Fallon announced me, I was sitting there like, this is humiliating. He was pointing at me and having strangers come. He's a bad guy.
Toxic dick. And sometimes he'll say something that doesn't even make sense, but it'll haunt me. You know, it's just what he does is Keith tries to find the worst version of you. Like he'll find somebody that looks like you. Like if everything goes awry in your life, like if you hit every dead end, and it'll hurt. It'll be so powerful, and then he'll scream out like Rachel. So we were outside the Comedy Cellar once, and there was just this like old frizzy-haired lady sort of poking at some trash outside. And he was like, Rachel, come over here. Don't be upset about the trash now. It still fucking haunts me. Because I could kind of see it, you know? Like he'll find somebody that's like home-lish, but has your hair type or something.
Sure.
It's so fucked up.
Hold up. This is starting to sound like a funeral.
No, I'm gonna say nice. I'm gonna say
Get
nice.
it out of the way.
I'm gonna say nice stuff at your funeral. Also, when I was young and broke, Keith, I used to drive us to New York every day, and Keith, at the end of the night when we drop him off first, he would just leave all of his garbage in our car and laugh at us. So one night when he did that, we threw the trash out on his front lawn, laughed at him, and then drove away. At which time I got pulled over immediately and given a $400 ticket. Then later that week, we were driving to New York, just me and Keith, and we were in a major traffic jam, and the car in front of us was a police car. And he turned his lights on, and everybody started getting out of their way, and we followed the police car and cut through all the traffic, which was fine, except for every car we passed, Keith was hanging out the window like a dog, going, ah-ha, to the people who were stuck in traffic. And as soon as we got to the tunnel, they pulled us over, gave me a $700 ticket, of which both I could not afford to pay, and eventually ended up spending one night in jail in New York City for not paying those tickets.
Alex, where
Can
are
I
our
just
points
add
at?
one thing, please?
Please.
Okay. So I took a boxing class with Keith and some other comics, and they had to put us in some kind of like
Keith who?
padded down.
This is crazy.
Robinson?
This was before the first of like the triplet of strokes he had. This was like before the first one. So we got basically put in some kind of like an extra padded room because Keith was harassing us so much and people were complaining about him. There was some anorexic girl that used to run on the treadmill, and Keith would be like, hey, damn, that skinny bitch, never gonna get it. He goes, stop shaving your ass off, bitch. And then they would just put us like in a special room. And then Keith would, when he was working out, pretend to jerk off and then hurl cum at me. He'd just be like, hey, Rachel, would you like this? Share it with your family. This is why he lost his hand, because this is what he was doing with it. And he would just hurl imaginary cum at me, and then just kind of like, and then they put him in like a special padded room after that.
No. What would you do?
I would pretend to catch it and like lap it up like I'd been waiting for it. I'd be like, oh, thank you.
Keith,
But that was all
Keith,
before I was a mom.
Keith, remember you got arrested and Rachel came to bail you out with Sacagawea fucking coins? Oh, it's been a long career. Do we have our scores? It's the
record,
Morse code.
Obscenities was spelled correctly,
It was spelled correctly.
and this story belongs to Keith Robinson.
Yes.
Shit.
Keith, is it the story I told of you yelling at the cars while we were driving by them?
No.
Okay, this is the dumbest
Oh.
part. I was there, you
I was
moron.
gonna say, isn't it
And
Rachel you were yelling
I
at?
was with you. You're not supposed to tell a story when I...
Rachel. That whore. This is real shit.
It's a great story.
She would not me. Her and Kat was driving.
This was before you had Alzheimer's.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your whore mouth.
Go on, shut it.
Okay. This was before...
We asked Rachel. Shut up, Rachel. I asked Rachel, where you live at, Rachel? She said, just let me off at the store. I said, well, we'll just take you. When you go from the store, we'll take you home.
Call
No.
having street smarts.
No, she said, no, I'm just going to the store. So we let her go in the store. I told Kevin, cut the lights out and drive over a little bit. we're going to find out where this whore lives. So dumb Rachel comes skipping out. She didn't know we were behind. We're driving up behind her. Like, come here, white girl. We got something for you. Ah! And Rachel starts running a little bit. And we're screaming, come here, white girl. And cops pull us over. They ask Kev for his license and registration. Dumb Kev goes, When a cop asks you for your shit, you go, you don't have what they need.
Keith, where this story's going, I can't
Can I
believe you're
just
judging
say-
Kev's way of handling things. You are a maniac in this story.
Also, Keith, it's so much worse, you guys. Okay, so we're on the road. Keith starts pumping the brakes in the car and being like, hey, you know what, Kev? I feel like Rachel. I'm going to Rachel this afternoon. He goes,
It was a
then he
different
starts-
time. This is the early aughts. It's the early aughts. It's a different time. It's 2001.
Then he says, hey, you know what bugs me? It bugs me that Rachel's dad's a civil rights lawyer. We don't need his help. Tell your white dork daddy we don't need him. And then he says, I'm going to assault Rachel and I'm going to have her dad defend me.
I think I'm the hero in this story.
He goes,
So far.
I'm going to call him up and I'm going to say, Mr. Feinstein, this is the case that's going to make you a star.
No, but we get locked up. I get pepper sprayed by the cops.
No, just you got locked up.
No, Kev got
Keith
locked
and
up.
Kev
too.
got locked up.
They let Kev go, though.
No, they let him go.
Keith was screaming
Rachel,
at strangers.
for the love of God. Have a snack. No. So, they take me to the hospital because the cop is pepper spraying me. Because they pull out pepper spray. And I'm from South Philly, you know what I mean? I say, fuck pepper spray. I eat pepper spray.
I eat pepper spray, he said. Confirmed by the cop.
That's also his bumbleheading. Go ahead.
So they empty like 8 cans of pepper spray in my eyes. I'm like, I don't eat pepper spray. I don't eat it.
He screamed.
So when I get back to the cell, Kev is there. He has crumbs all over his sweater. I'm like, what happened? He said a homeless guy wrestled me to the ground and took my potato chips. So, and you know what? The homeless guy ended up being Cat Williams.
Fun fact.
Here's the thing. Here's the key. Dumbass Rachel comes in like 10:30 in the morning with a cheeseburger. I'm hungry. He asked the guy in the front desk, can I get him a cheeseburger? He said, sure, go and give him the cheeseburger. This dummy comes over. I get the sandwich. I snatch it, open up, give it to eat. She said, don't eat it yet. Looking around. This is Rachel. This dumbass Rachel. Look inside the burger. I'm like, what? Look inside the burger. Open up the burger. There's a note in there. We're going to get you out. What the fuck?
Yo.
You think this is Shawshank Redemption, bitch?
By the way, cut to her plan was later on that night showing up with me with a sock full of Sacagawea dollar coins.
That's right.
It was that night.
But I have to say, I'm J-Lo in this story and you're P. Diddy, and I should have fucking left you in
You should've
jail. He should be rotting in jail right now.
She should have left you in jail that night.
And by the way, Buddy Bolton wrote the note that said, I'm going to get you out of here. But
That's true.
but
You delivered the note.
you remember, Buddy wrote
I do.
it. Okay. But he did decide that we should put it in a fucking turkey club for Keith. But the reason you guys were pulled over was because Keith was screaming. There was these old ladies walking down the street and they were talking to each other. And one of the old ladies was like, you know, sometimes I like to eat strawberry. And Keith goes, shh, keep it down. Shh, be quiet. He was shushing strangers.
Which
on
is, by the
street.
way, it's just addictively hilarious.
It is always funny.
To just tell strangers to shut the fuck up
We
is
always
so
tell
fun.
strangers to keep it down. We'll be
But
like
also-
outside on Bleecker Street, and some lady will be like, "And then we got divorced." He'll be like, "Shh, if you don't mind, just keep it down a little bit."
Yeah, but also, in fairness, what Keith's leaving out, as maybe a lot of black people tend to do,
Whoa.
they thought his hairbrush was a gun, and then he didn't tell them that it wasn't, and it was a hairbrush. And then when they tried to grab his wrist to arrest him, Keith kept pulling his hand away and going, "Nope." He said nope until they pepper sprayed him. With enough pepper spray that they wanted to put a man down who just told them he eats pepper spray.
No, what
Then
it
they
was,
kicked you into shitting yourself.
They said that in the courtroom, and the judge asked them to leave that shit. No black guy who said I had a brush wrapped in the newspaper, like it was a shotgun. Why the fuck would I do that?
It's true. The blacks aren't known for that.
Y'all can laugh. Y'all,
You guys. Think about the ridiculous shit he just said to me.
Alex, where are our points at now? This has been the craziest story we've ever had on Story Wars.
All right, on the scoreboard.
I feel like I would know if Jay was cheated on regularly, but I didn't know you with that girl when you were younger.
But she didn't cheat on me
Who
regularly.
do you think it is, Keith?
Well, she cheated on you regular.
No, she fucked that guy and then left forever.
Hey, switch your answer. It's Keith.
I'm going
It's
Rachel
definitely
Feinstein.
not me.
Keith from South Philly. They get
Rachel.
But they don't have trees.
I'm
There's no
just I'm
trees
copying
there.
over Drew's answer because Drew has had a perfect game so far.
Who'd you go with?
Rachel.
Remember when Keith's girlfriend caught him cheating and she went and she broke into his home and she cut up his waterbed or whatever he had in his house?
Sure.
And she cut up, like she had, imagine how ignorant Keith's home is. It's like a velvet picture of a Corvette or something. And she cut up his...
Listen.
And she cut up his diesel jeans. And Keith came back with the woman, with like whoever he was cheating with. She put oil all over the floor and rice. I wish I could send her an edible arrangement for doing this. What a wonderful woman. And then the girl slipped that you were cheating on her with, right?
Some
Keith?
of my favorite stories of Keith are the violence that's been brought upon him from cheating. A woman followed him to Kevin Hart's house to meet us one day because she was mad because Keith was dressed up for some reason. She thought it was for another girl, but Keith just wanted to dress nice because he's black. And she followed him to Kevin Hart's house, and when she got out, she stayed in front of him and shook up a fucking Diet Pepsi and just opened it and sprayed it all over his shirt. And then we had to stop on the way to New York at a rest stop so we could buy like a Wildwood, New Jersey wolf shirt.
You're right. Many
That was so great.
women have ruined his clothing. You're right. Because I remember him coming. He always has one top hanging up, like from some, like it's
Yeah.
always like some like Nigerian silk shop in
Let me
Philly
tell
or
you
something.
Me and Keith. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you first.
Me and Keith can never beat. We all came home one night from New York and went to Kevin Hart's house, and there was a girl burning his clothes in a bonfire, dancing around it like this. That's the worst losing your clothes story.
Yo, Keith rules.
She was dancing around a fucking cauldron of Keith.
Keith is the man.
Keith,
He's the GOAT.
Keith, who's your final answer?
I gotta go with Drew because I don't like him.
That's a good reason.